Hey buddy, what's going on? Welcome into Old Mountain Bricks. Today we've got something special here for you. We are doing a vintage retired Lego set. This is set number 10211 containing 2,182 pieces. This is the Grand Emporium. This set came out in 2010 and is in a long line of awesome modular building sets that are great for a Lego city. This one we picked up a few months ago that's been missing from my collection from the Brick Convention, and today it is finally time to unbox it, build it, review it, and find a place for it in our Lego city. It's a corner building, it's gonna show some age, but I'm really excited to go ahead and get started with this one. The outside of the box shows some of the details of it. Iconically, it has this little billboard on top of it there, but it's a little shopping center is what we're going to be building here today. Notably, it also doesn't say the name of the set on these older modular building boxes, but the front actually shows why it's called a modular building, as you're able to remove the different sections of it. Back of the box shows all kinds of fun things going on in this one, with a few stories as they used to do inside these modular buildings here. You can see this guy's apparently missing some pants and some other fun things going on within, and the other minifigures and a few little mini builds included with it, as well as some of the different floors. The modular buildings historically always show it next to other modular buildings, so this one came out right after the Fire Brigade and the Green Grocer there. So it's always fun to see these all lined up together. Also notably, this style of box shows all the pieces that come included on it, which was the style at the time, showing you everything you would get inside, and then the actual size thing that has stayed consistent there. This is a brand new sealed in box vintage set, never been opened, from 2010. So let's go ahead and open it now. These older instruction manuals always get me because I go to open it and then I realize I have to turn it more like a book there, and it shows the 3 different stages you build. These are all bag number 1, this is all bag number 2, and all bag number 3. And then you go ahead and get started with the minifigures. As we get started with the build, I start by building the Mills plate you saw there, and then you start with all the fun tiling work that comes with a modular building. It's actually one of my favorite parts, kind of doing all the designs on the beginning there, and then you start laying the bricks around the sides. The first floor goes together pretty easily. You make these little mini builds inside, of course we'll take a closer look at, and then the repetitious part starts with the first floor there, where you could saw those little curved slopes and the little awnings. You then start with the second floor and then on to the third floor, which are almost identical to each other. Again, which is a weird thing on this set that makes it not as great as maybe some of the other modular buildings that have come after it, but they go together the same way. You make the same little plate foundation there, and then the bricks just go along the side and it builds everything right up. The mini builds are different on each floor, but otherwise the same. You then see I do a ton of windows for each of them there. That took a long time, a little repetitious. And then you do the roof, which again is the same design as the 2 floors before it. But I thought the overall build process on this set was quite enjoyable. Like I said, a little bit repetitious, but otherwise a lot of fun to put together. It had a lot of good system build to it, a lot of bricks and everything, so it was nice to be able to have that. But let's finish this up and take a look at it. Okay, and here is the Grand Emporium modular building. It definitely shows its age in a few spots here, but you cannot deny that this is an iconic member of the modular building family, with like the brick built shop, the flags, the classic billboard, and the nice color scheme using like these tan, white, gray, and this dark green. Let's take an overview of the exterior of the Grand Emporium, and then we'll do a top-down review of all the interior details. Starting out, this of course is a corner building. So it does have, of course, kind of two sides to it, if you will, with the center here being this nice little tile design in here with like the dark blue and white in order to kind of make it stand out a little bit. It does have the classic lamppost, a mailbox, and a few other details out front. Some nice planters, an ice cream stand, and a nice little trash bin. Again, one of the most iconic things of this, it does say shop right out there. It's held on to the building with like this little tube piece, and then you just brick build the letters using like 1x2 plate or 1x1 plate and tile and a few clear pieces in order to get the word shop kind of built in there. So it's always fun when you make words out of Lego. Of course, we've got some nice little flags out front there, the dark blue and red. We've got these nice green awnings here. Of course, with these older sets, you have to be careful with certain colors to avoid them breaking. It was just a sign of the times for some of the things with Lego. The main ones you have to be on the lookout for are like these brown pieces, also known as brittle brown, as well as dark green, and then dark red are the main culprits in that here. So we had a little bit of issue, not as much as you would think, because the grand majority is not those colors, but especially smaller pieces I'll show you in just a minute I had a little bit of issues with. But all the dark green pieces, you could hear them crackling a little bit, but they held in place. But as we continue looking around here, of course, one of the other iconic parts of this building is that makes it feel more alive is that it has this like window cleaner guy out here just kind of hanging on there with a few of these like rope pieces. And then going around the other side, again, kind of the same, other than the brick-built billboard over here with kind of like the minifigure face. I always thought it was interesting seeing this because it's not really a smile, just like a straight face, and then this like brick-built like gift. You can see it 3D popping off there with some lights kind of shining on it. On top of it here, you've got this nice little skylight with a lot of black pieces and like these big window pieces, but it doesn't really open up or anything. But as we continue around, the sides of the Grand Emporium actually look pretty nice and smooth for the age of this. Some of the other modular buildings of this time do not look this good on the sides here. So it just looks really nice, 360 degrees here. You've got two windows. There's also a rear door on the back of the modular building. Just this nice little cutout here using like these nice curved inverted slopes, which makes it look pretty nice. Got this little door that can open, a nice little trash bin, and a light up there, which is pretty fun to see as well. Of course, I built it on the Mills plate, so it is raised up, but I did use the original color, which was like this tan within there, which is the color of the base plate that you can see there in order to kind of keep it originalish as possible. From this angle, you can also see that some of the bricks are a little discolored, which is interesting because, again, this was a sealed set, never out in the sun or anything, but you can see that just over time, some of the light bluish gray does fade a little bit, and it just kind of changes color, so you can kind of see that kind of throughout here as well. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. Again, it's very surprising for the time of modular building that a building looks this good, 360 degrees. It's a little repetitious in spots with kind of doing the windows over and over on two different floors. And then this little pattern up here with like the cylinders. You can see like the inverted slopes there. These other tiles and a few other designs kind of throughout. So you do that all over there, all over there, all over there. So it gets a little repetitive there with basically these top two floors being the same build other than a few minor details. But that's the exterior. Let's go ahead and work our way down from top to bottom so you can see everything on the inside as well. Now for our patent pending top-down review here of the modular building. So of course, here's just a better look at that roof. Again, this little section doesn't really pop out, and the famous billboard, but it does just slide off the top by lifting it up. Interestingly, on these older modular buildings, they're just kind of held in with these little plates right here, and they aren't actually attached with any studs, so it just comes off cleanly. So be careful when you're moving these older ones, as they could just fall apart on you if you let them slide. So as we take a look at the first floor, again, these older modular buildings don't have a ton of detail, but there's still some in here. This one is famous for having the chandelier up top here using the 1x2 clear plates. And you can see there's an escalator leading up to this floor, which is consistent throughout, and just a few little builds up here. So this first one is a scooter. There are then 2 balls just sitting there, and what I call like a birdhouse or something similar. So here's that minifig perspective there of that little house. Again, these 2 balls are just kind of sitting in this little crate, which always annoys me on modular buildings when things aren't attached, but those are some interesting elements. And then on this side, there is this little scooter here. You can also take this out and give it to one of the minifigures if you want, but it is for sale in the Grand Emporium. Only 3 things up top here, so a birdhouse, 2 large balls, or a scooter. But otherwise, the rest of the interior just has like a lot of this tan brick, and then the windows off to the side, which can be opened by just kind of pushing in out like that if you wanted to. The other side here just has a lot of these green windows you can look out, along with some railing in the middle there using the 1x2 clear bricks with the black tile on top. But let's head down the escalator to the next floor. So same as the roof, it just kind of lifts off because it's not connected by studs or anything. As I said earlier, this is a repetitious build because this is almost exactly the same as the top, other than the escalator kind of going up to that next floor. But otherwise, it is exactly the same. The only things on this one, you have 2 gold plates and 4 cups. Really exciting stuff. So here's a closer look at those kind of gold lacquered plates there, and then the cups over here. They are the green like wine cups you don't see too often, and then kind of the standard cups you see in clear. But everything else is the same with the windows over on this side. Not a very exciting floor, but overall not too bad. And then we remove that one as well. The only difference on the exterior with that one is it does have the flags attached. But then we make it down to the ground floor. So taking a closer look at this one, this is the most different, of course, but it does have a few little mini builds within. Of course, the escalator continues there. There's a little cash register and a few other things for sale inside we'll take a closer look at in a second. So from this angle inside, you can see those 2 mannequins up front there and some jewels for sale, I think is what that's meant to be, kind of in the emerald and the sapphire. On the wall, there are 2 more pairs of like the short legs, just kind of built in like that. Over here is probably the best little Easter egg of the Grand Emporium, is this little changing curtain over here that is just put in there with 2 different like black cape pieces, the old school ones with like the 2 holes. So you can, of course, move them out of the way, and inside is the guy without pants and a little bench over there, and he is changing into his pants. Sorry to bother you, bud. There we go. From this angle, there's a little cash register set up right there, and a couple hats. And then you can see right outside onto the street. This one, it's hard to get the camera in through the door like you can on some modular buildings because it has the little spinny door, which is really cool on this set, which you don't really see too often on LEGO or anything. So that's always kind of fun to see. But if you could kind of squeeze in, and then you can kind of see a few things right there. And right in here, you can see kind of outside the windows and everything. See my hand in there. And kind of move right around this way to kind of look out the front and to see those other mannequins right over there as well. So that's cool to see the interior. And now just a quick look at the minifigures that come with the set. There are a total of 7 minifigures, but technically only about 5 of them are alive, if you will. These 2 you see without the faces right there are actually mannequins that go inside the shop. But, they still look like minifigures and are physically minifigures, so we'll include them in this list here. First up, from left to right, we have, like, someone who works in the shop there. This is like a cashier. We've then got the lady with the bags right there. They are a shopper, which is maybe a mom to the little kid right next to it there. We then have a bride and groom mannequin, and then the window washer, and then another guy buying some pants. The original Where's My Pants guy. You can see he is, missing some of his pants, but let's go ahead and take a look at all of them individually now. So again, for an older modular set, there's not a lot of detail on these minifigures, and they do feature the classic smiley face on all of them, again, which was standard up until the diner for all modular buildings. But this is, again, just someone who works there. They've got a nice little scarf on and some white pants, but no other details. They have like the really long ponytail piece, which is really fun. Next up, we've got the shopper. It kind of reminds me of Christmas because they've got like the red and white there with the bow and the green pants, so they are ready for the holiday season. They also have their 2 bags with them as their accessories and this nice little bowl cut there. So looks like they're ready to do some shopping. Next is the little kid here. Comes with the little hat. Kind of has like the pirate outfit on is what I call it. I've seen that a number of times. Also features the short legs that do not bend, so they're a little shorter than the average minifigure. Also comes with the classic baseball cap as well. Next, I will do these 2 together because, again, they are technically mannequins. And this dress is actually really nice. It has some nice gold detailing kind of printed on there. It is kind of the old classic slope piece, so not like the rounded slope, but it still looks pretty nice. These minifigures do actually have the smiles on the other side. They didn't just provide heads without them or anything, so you could just have these as folks in the city if you wanted to, but I'm just kind of keeping it as original to the set as I can. Same with this guy over here, just a classic hairpiece. No extra printing and a nice black suit. Next up is just a classic worker here in like his green overalls and red outfit there and his hard hat for some reason. He is the window washer that is kind of famous for this set. And then the guy hiding in the changing room trying on some new pants is this guy right here. I just think it's pretty funny how they included him like this in this set with his drawers off, if you will. So he is showing a little bit of skin, which is kind of funny for LEGO these days. I don't know if they would do that in particular now, but you can, of course, take those legs off and put the blue ones on, but that's how I was told to build them in the set, so that's how we're gonna leave them. Here's just a quick shot of the leftover pieces on this set. I have some of the 2x2s because I replaced them with like jumper tiles, which was not common at the time. The only issue I had with this set being a little older was the brittle red pieces. You could see all the ones that kind of snapped in half as I was trying to use some of them here. So these are going to get the boot and not go in. And of course the reason it's called a modular building is because you can split it up like this and add on to it if you really wanted to as well. But here are all 4 sections of the Grand Emporium together. Especially if you look at it kind of from this view, you can see the roof, that 3rd floor, the 2nd floor, and the base floor. So let's put all this back together and I'll do my final thoughts. All right, here it is all back together again, and this was a great set to put together. It's an iconic modular building. I believe it's the 5th in the modular building series. There was the first 3, then the Fire Brigade, and then the Grand Emporium. For its age of modular building, it's moved up pretty high into the top rankings there. Just having the nice detail on the outside here without too many line breaks or random colors, like even some of the ones that came after this had, that was great. I like the little patio back here. The exterior is really where it shines. The shop sign down here, the little billboard up top, of course. I love the flags and the green little canopies and all of that. The nice tile work. But the interior is really lacking for some of this. And I know I've seen a few folks go in, add some more stuff to it to make it actually look like a shopping place rather than a museum, I guess is another way. Funny enough, a museum came out a number of years later. The interior just isn't really great. But the exterior is what you're going to see when you put it in a LEGO City, and that's why we got it here. It's a corner building. This is the 2nd corner building after the Cafe Corner that started the modular building collection. So it's exciting to finally have this one, and I think it just looks great. I didn't have too many issues putting it together with like broken pieces or anything like that, other than like the smalls I showed you there. So just be cautious if you are going to build something like this or find it used to check that kind of stuff. But otherwise, I really enjoyed this set. And if you have a LEGO City, I would definitely recommend picking it up. It's one of the cheaper modular buildings you can find out there. You just got to find the right deal for it. I think it's a pretty great modular building, and I'm excited to find a place for it in our LEGO City. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next LEGO City update. We've been needing a corner building for quite a long time, and in the next update, we're going to find a place for it. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next LEGO City update where we find a nice home in our LEGO City. But I think that will do it for today. So if you enjoyed this modular building review, make sure you leave a like on the way out. Comment down below what you think of the Grand Emporium. Does it live up to the hype?
Or do you think the age of this set has really caught up with it? But until next time, thanks for coming by Old Mountain Bricks today. Have a good one.